For 10 years, my family told me we were broke. But one question from my grandpa exposed where my disability money really went. Azura Voss grew up believing her parents were the kind of people who would never abandon her. She believed this even more after the accident that changed her life at 16, the accident that left her walking with a brace and living with chronic nerve damage. But the deepest betrayals are the ones hidden behind the calmest voices. For 10 years, her parents managed her disability payments. For 10 years, she trusted them. And for 10 years, they stole from her. But the truth didn't come from an accountant, a lawyer, or a letter. It came from one man, her grandfather. And one question. A simple question that shattered everything Azura thought she knew. Azura was 26 when the story truly began. A soft-spoken woman with dark auburn hair always tied loosely at her neck, and a quiet strength she rarely acknowledged. She survived on small part-time jobs, freelance work, and whatever savings she could scrape together. She'd been told her disability payments barely covered the household bills, so she never saw a penny of them. Her mother always said, "Azura, we're using the benefits to keep the house running. You live here, so you benefit too." Her father always followed with, "Money doesn't grow on trees. Be grateful we're helping you." So Azura always felt guilty for needing anything. She reused old braces long past their lifespan. She skipped therapy sessions to avoid wasting family money. She wore the same worn shoes until they practically folded in half. But the worst part? She genuinely thought she was a burden. That idea had been planted in her heart so slowly, she never noticed it taking root. And then everything changed one cold November afternoon. Azura visited her grandfather, Azura Voss, every Sunday. He lived in a small, warm house filled with old books and the smell of pine-scented soap. He had soft eyes, a rough voice, and the ability to make silence feel comforting instead of suffocating. This Sunday, while she was making tea in his kitchen, he noticed something. Her leg brace, old, cracked, patched with medical tape in desperate attempts to extend its life. Elias asked quietly, "Azura, why haven't you replaced that brace? That's the one you got at 19, isn't it?" Azura hesitated, embarrassed. "Grandpa, the family has been tight on money. I don't want to ask for more." Elias frowned. "Tight on money? Azura, you've been receiving disability payments for years. You should have enough for medical equipment." Azura blinked. The world tilted slightly, like a camera slowly zooming in. "Receiving," she repeated. Elias looked directly at her. "Azura, do you not get your own disability funds?" Her chest tightened. Her mouth went dry. "No," she whispered. "Mom and Dad said they're handling it for me. They told me it just covers bills." Elias set his cup down, slowly, deliberately. His eyes hardened, turning sharp in a way Azura had never seen before. He asked one question. A single question that ripped open 10 years of lies. "If you haven't been getting that money, then who has?" Azura felt her breath catch. At that moment, the first crack in her family's perfect story appeared. Elias stood up, grabbed his coat, and said, "We're going to the bank right now." Azura followed him, heart pounding, a sick feeling swirling in her stomach. At the bank, the manager recognized Elias immediately. "Mr. Voss, how can I help you?" Elias motioned toward Azura. "We need to look at the deposit destination for her disability payments. All records. 10 years. The manager hesitated, but Azura signed the authorization. Minutes later, the truth glowed on the screen like a spotlight. Azura's payments, every check, every deposit, had not gone to her. They had gone to an account under her parents' names. For 10 years. Azura stared at the screen, lips trembling. Her mother's name, her father's name, row after row of payments. Deposits of $1,200, $1,800, $2,000, 10 years worth. Her entire future, her entire support system, gone. And then came the worst part. The bank manager printed the transaction history. Expenses showed up immediately. Spa visits, expensive dinners, high-end furniture, a vacation to Turkey, renovations to the living room, jewelry, Transfers to a personal leisure fund. Not a single medical expense for Azura. Elias clenched the papers so hard they crumpled. He whispered, voice shaking with fury, "They used your pain to fund their luxury." Azura couldn't breathe. Her parents, the two people she trusted most, had stolen not just her money, but her dignity. That evening, Elias drove Azura home. When they entered the house, her mother was slicing vegetables for dinner. Her father was scrolling on his tablet. Elias didn't even remove his coat. He slammed the printed bank statements onto the table. Her mother jumped. Her father froze. Elias roared, "Explain." Her mother's face was drained of color. Azura's father tried to speak first. "Dad, this isn't, you don't understand." But Elias thundered, 10 years. You've been stealing her disability money for 10 years. Azura's mother rushed forward. "We didn't steal anything. We used it for the house. For her. She lives here." Azura finally spoke, voice breaking. "Then why didn't I get therapy? Why didn't I get a new brace? Why did I feel guilty for needing anything?" Her mother stammered, "We had other expenses." "Like spa trips?" Elias snapped. "Like vacations? Like jewelry?" Azura's father slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. We deserved compensation. We took care of her." Azura felt something inside her go cold. "You didn't take care of me," she whispered. "You took everything from me." Her mother's voice softened, trembling. "Azura, we're family. Families share money." Azura stared at her. "Did we share the spa trips? Did we share the vacations? Did we share the luxury dinners?" Silence. Absolute, suffocating silence. Her father muttered the most painful words of all. "You should be grateful we didn't spend more." Azura stepped back, as if slapped. Elias moved in front of her protectively. "You too disgust me," he said. "You manipulated her disability for your benefit. You stole her dignity." Her parents' faces twisted, guilt, shame, anger all mixing together. Azura realized something then. They weren't sorry. Not even a little. They were just sorry they got caught. That night, Azura packed her belongings. Her parents shouted after her, "You're overreacting. Where will you go? You're ruining this family." Azura didn't respond. Elias waited in the car with the heater on. As she climbed inside, he said softly, "You're coming home with me. And tomorrow, we take this further." Azura rested her head on the window, tears falling silently. For the first time in years, she wasn't crying from guilt or shame. She was crying because she finally understood. She had never been the burden. She had been the victim. The next morning, Azura and Elias met with a lawyer specializing in financial exploitation. The case was airtight. 10 years of stolen federal benefits. Misuse of disability funds. Fraud. Deception. Emotional abuse. Her parents received formal charges within weeks. Azura regained control of her disability payments. She qualified for back pay compensation. She received emergency medical support for her leg. And more than anything, she gained freedom. Real freedom. Months later, Azura stood on her grandfather's porch, looking at the sunrise. Her new brace fit perfectly. She had returned to school part-time. Her confidence was growing back, piece by piece. Elias stood beside her, sipping coffee. "You seem lighter," he said. Azura smiled softly. "I feel like I'm finally living my own life." He squeezed her shoulder gently. "All because of one question," she said. Elias chuckled. "Sometimes that's all it takes." Azura breathed deeply. "They stole 10 years from me, but they didn't break me." She looked at her grandfather, the only person who had truly seen her suffering. "And thanks to you, they never will."